مشاهدينا الكرام، اهلا وسهلا فيكم بحلقه جديده من بقعه امل سبار اوف هوب على واتساب ميديا نتورك. طبعا مفاجاه تحيه من اول حلقه وعلى طول لواتساب ميديا نتورك لخير حسين هاشم اللي عم يفتح لنا على طول الهواء لحتى نسلط الضوء على مواضيع وعلى ضيوف مميزين وناجحين وكلهم امل وكلهم تفاؤل. اليوم ضيفتنا نورتنا ست سهام عواضة جعفر، اهلا وسهلا فيكي.
اهلا فيك.
ثانك يو لك على مجيئك. طبعا ست سهام هي كوميونتي اكتيفيست، شي دايفرسيتي كوتش اند منتور، وهي كمان عندها شو وعندها كونفرنس كل سنه على مده at least 10 15 years if not 20. ما شاء الله. ها
17
ما شاء الله 17 years. و she's married to also الاستاذ حسان جعفر ايضا اللي هو من عاد كوميونتي بيلر از ويل. سو تحيه لك وللفاميلي ولكل everybody، وكمان تحيه لكل المشاهدين اللي عم يتابعونا واللي عم يشاركونا كل نهار ثلاثة. اي سؤال اي ايديا عندكم مشاهدينا الكرام بليز ما تقصروا اطرحوها بالكومنت بوكس وان شاء الله ويل بيك ات اب. وطبعا بوجه تحيه لكل السبونسرز تبع واتساب ميديا نتورك، سلينج ارابيك تي في، اكثر من 130 عربي شانلز از ويل از المشاهد بلس بي ام سبورتس. لتحصلوا على مشاركه مجانيه كل ما عليكم تعملوه انكم تتواصلوا مع الواتساب ميديا نتورك تيم وان شاء الله بتحصلوا عليها. طبعا تحيه للسبار اوف هوب سبونسرز ليمو اكسبرس مروان فرج، سام بيدون وين كاونتي كوميشنر، وايضا سنشري 21 يعني هو كوميونتي ايجنت طبعا، وعلي شراره من سنشري 21. طبعا تحيه لك ست سام، اهلا وسهلا فيكي بالشو.
اهلا
نورتينا.
فيك ثانك يو.
اشاره انه حتى حسين بيعرفها شيء يمكن، انه انا اول اطلاله تلفزيونيه كانت تشرفنا فيها كانت معك.
مظبوط. You were on my show a few years ago, and I remember it very clearly. I was very impressed with your.
I was way bigger though.
You were way bigger, a little bit, but you looked great then. You look great now, and
thank you. Appreciate your compliment.
I was completely impressed with your abilities and with your vision.
Thank you.
You had quite a vision for yourself in regards to what you wanted to do for the future.
Thank you so much.
It was a beautiful show that we did with you.
You've been a great supporter since then, so I appreciate your support then. I appreciate your support now, and I will always appreciate your support. Siham, I see you everywhere. I see you with every major icon. You are an icon, by the way. It's not your face. It's not
Thank you,
a compliment. You know, you are at each and every single event in the community. MashaAllah, support is outpouring on Facebook. إذا لا سمح الله في أي bad occasion أو الحمد لله إن شاء الله always أي happy occasions. يعني that cannot go unnoticed. Let's talk about Siham, the lady, the successful professional today, mother, wife, community activist, great supporter. Let's talk from the beginning. Siham, where were you born and raised? Is it in the States, well, in Lebanon, and then you came over here?
No, in the States. I was born at Hutzel Hospital in Detroit, Michigan.
Nice.
And we actually lived in the south end of Dearborn, at the very beginning.
And shout out to the south end, of course.
Yes, the south end.
Yes.
I'm going to age myself, but back in the early 60s. And I actually went to Salina School.
Okay.
I went to Salina School for a few years, and it was lovely.
It's 100 years now, Salina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100 years. Our anniversary was a few weeks back.
Yep, absolutely, and people are celebrating that.
Wow.
So
you were part of the legacy.
Yeah, it was nice, and I wanted to go to the reunion they had, but unfortunately I was out of town. But Salina will always be part of me.
Yes.
That was the beginning. But when we lived in the South End, believe it or not, there weren't very many Arab American families at all. I think there was maybe just a handful of individuals that were of Arab descent, but everyone was very close. It was a very close-knit community, and people were very, it was like family. You know, we had
smaller, obviously, way smaller than now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people went to, you know, the mosque. They went to, you know, different places. I remember back then going to the Jami'a on Joy Road, and it was one of the most amazing, beautiful times of my life. Just, you know, because our life sort of surrounded what happened at the Jami'a. My mom was very involved in the women's club there. I was, I went through the classes there when I was younger, and I also became a Sunday school teacher, which was absolutely lovely.
Nice.
And also, I remember the most. I think that was the beginning of me thinking about people coming together and the acceptance of people, because what we were taught at the Jami'a was you could not be a Muslim if you did not accept and understand all the other religions. So we actually went to the churches and we went to visit synagogues, and we had them come and visit us.
Nice.
So it was that communication that was always there. And I remember we actually went to catechism too and learned about that when we were younger. My neighbor would come to the Jami'a with me. I would go to church with her. So Allah yarhamu, Sheikh Shiri was very open in regards to understanding other religions.
Open-minded was good.
Absolutely. You know, Islam is the seal of the religions, and you have to accept, and it was the culmination of all religions.
Sure.
So his concept was you had to understand, accept, love, respect all those religions leading up to Islam. So that was, I think that was the beginning of the fact that, you know, it always instilled in me that we're not really different, we're alike. We do things a little differently, but we do things, you know, in a like fashion. So those were beautiful years, and I taught at the Jami'a as well, and I loved it. But when things started to change, you know, I think I kept this solid preference of, you know, who I was, how I grew up, and how I understood my religion to be, and that's the premise that I've lived on.
Absolutely. That's I mean, to some degree, that remains within the person himself or herself.
Absolutely.
But definitely that can be revealed through the intention, acts of kindness, of love, of peace, of help that you have never failed to show. Even your husband. We're going to talk about your husband. So he doesn't be jealous.
No, that's my favorite subject.
So you were born, raised in. You were born in Detroit, but raised in south end of Dearborn. You went to Salina. You were surrounded by a religious family. I went to the mosque. You know, you were involved as a student, and then you taught. What about your family? Like, how many siblings do you have?
I have one sister.
Just one sister?
Just one sister.
Oh, no brothers?
Andrea. No, just one sister, just the two of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how she's doing?
She's doing well. She
Great.
is very, you know.
She's as active as you are?
Well, right now she's retired.
Okay.
But
God
she
bless
was
her.
a high school. She was a middle school principal, and she
Awesome.
retired as a middle school principal.
Okay. Shout out to her too.
Yes, absolutely. Hiyam. She's actually, you know, very amazing as well.
Hiyam, is that your
Hiyam
sister
is
said?
her name, yep. So Mom thought it would be cute to do Hiyam and Siham.
That's
that way
nice.
she remembered both the names.
Hiyam and Siham, yeah. That's nice. Which middle school she was the principal over, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh my goodness, the newer school. Oh my goodness,
is it in Dearborn?
Yeah, it was in Dearborn. Okay. It was the brand new school that they had.
Okay.
It'll come to me in a few minutes.
I see, not a problem. So thank for all that she did in the education field. So I see a family of public sector too. I have been giving back and educated obviously, but giving back to the public a lot. That's great. And then you said that your mom was involved in the mosque and your dad was
one of the founders of the Joy Road Mosque.
Awesome. Absolutely. God bless him. And how he's doing today?
Well, he passed away.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay. He passed away back in '75 when I was around 15, 16 years old.
Okay.
So
well, sorry to hear that. So he passed away when you were young.
God bless him. Yes.
So that's the first barrier that we've talked about today. I mean, so you pretty much grew up with one sister and your mom. So single household kind of.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. How was that because that was a tough time for any person, any individual, to lose such an instrumental, parent.
Absolutely.
Or somebody in assistance at that age, growing up, about to go to college, about to start a life. How was it?
You know what? It was a challenging time. Mom found herself, alone with,
Yes.
I was 15 at the time, and Hiyam was 18.
Did you give her a hard time?
We didn't. We really didn't.
Good.
We were good girls.
Nice.
But let me tell you, she was very, very strict.
Good.
She was very strict.
That's why you are the lady who you are today. So Allah يخليك إياها.
Thank you.
God
Allah
bless her.
يحفظك.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was very, very strict,
Nice.
and you know, things were done by the book. You know,
Cool.
if we were 5 or 10 minutes late from school, she was on her way there to find out why.
And
You know,
you can't
if we
get
were,
out before you finish your homework.
absolutely no.
Okay.
She was extremely on
Wow.
it.
Sounds like my mom.
Yes, and she was an amazing woman, but she
doubt.
was very, very, very strict. So it was hard, you know, to be able to be involved and to do
Sure.
things because of that strictness. But again,
Yes.
you know, we understood her fears and, you know, her situation. But you know, as we got older too, you know,
Yes,
things
to understand
changed.
why it was.
Yeah, and I don't think I would change that for the world.
Okay.
You know, I have my own kids now, and
Sure.
so I understand how important it is to have
If
that
you-
structure.
If you don't mind me asking, it was challenging, you said. Can you give us an idea about why and how it was challenging?
Again, you know,
Was it
Our-
financial, a job, or
well, it was more like
responsibility? and-
we had a lot more responsibility, of course,
Okay.
and together we had to, you know, we had to be as cohesive as possible because it was only the three of us.
Mm.
And you know, it was challenging because when you're in school, you know, you want to be part of these activities, and you know, your friends are going and they're coming, and you know,
Sure.
you're sort of like, no, I can't, and
Yeah.
and those are the challenging, you know, the challenging part. But you know, and the whole, as a whole picture, you know, I completely understand, you know, where she was coming from, and
Yes.
you know, it's good to have that structure. And
So
it's
you
good to
had a
have that
good
focus.
reaction then. You had a positive reaction. You understood why it wasn't that, oh, my mom does not like us, that's why she doesn't want to, you know, get us there. Or you're not going to say, oh, yeah, I mean, let me go do this and do that. And I mean, you pretty much were understanding, and which made it easier on your
Well,
mom.
not all the time.
Not all the
So understood most of the time, but there were
Understand.
times where, you know, you really want to do
Sure.
something, and you know, that opportunity is not there. I remember being chosen out of 3 people within, you know, our district to go to Washington D.C. for 2 days to be part of and I was still in high school,
Okay.
to be part of you know, the political process, and they were
Okay.
going to take us and show us around and what have you, and
Uh-huh.
and it was a great honor to have been picked, but
Sure.
I couldn't go because she goes, no, you're not going overnight anywhere without me, and so those kinds of things were
Understand.
difficult
She
and
was
disappointing.
protective 'cause,
But
I mean,
again,
yeah.
you know, being a single
Yes.
parent,
She felt that she has
Right, she had
huge
that
responsibility and obligation to make
Yeah.
sure that you're safe, you're happy, and better see in front of her eyes.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
just going to say,
Yes.
she was not happy with things that
Yeah.
she could not see or
Understand.
touch. So.
Understand. And then you graduated from where? From Wharton?
No, we actually moved away,
Okay.
and I'm a rail splitter. I graduated from Lincoln Park High back in '79. So
What?
yes, I did.
I went to Lincoln Park.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't even know that.
Oh, look
Yeah,
at that. See, that's
yeah.
why there's a connection here.
Right. I went to Lincoln Park High
So
School.
you're a
and-
rail splitter too.
Yeah, yeah. When you first said it, I said, okay, let me make sure. Did you go to
Yes.
Lincoln Park?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to Lincoln Park, and I personally graduated in 2012.
Okay.
So you know, your name and my name are on that bulletin
On that
board.
wall, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. So you went there, you graduated, and then you went to college
I went on a scholarship to Wayne State University.
on a scholarship.
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually studied engineering, and pretty
Engineering,
much
okay.
completed, yes, engineering.
What made you pick? If I'm me asking, before you continue, what made you pick that field at that time, and as a female,
Right.
and as a job?
Well,
so 3 things:
yes.
timing, female, and the job requirements are not, back then especially, not to say that women can't do it by any means. No, that's not the case at all. Because today women are pursuing college and graduating more than male, and they have been proven that they are more than able to do it. But back then, we're talking 30, 40 years ago. I mean, you know,
40 years ago.
40 years ago. So I mean, you know, I mean, that's a positive thing on your record of trying to enter in something that wasn't that much marketable among females, and the job environment with having a protective mom like that. That's why I'm also.
Well,
interested.
now there's one thing I didn't tell you about my mom.
Okay.
Mom was protective, but let me tell you, the message was, you can do whatever you put your mind to. and you get an education. I don't care what it is, as long as it's something that you can work with, and you get an education. And she would also say, don't even think about marriage until you have a degree, because you need to be independent and you need to be able to take care of yourself and never depend on anyone else. So that's the kind of household I lived in.
Wow,
it was
that's
not,
awesome.
you know, oh, you're a girl and you can't do it. You
Sure.
can do whatever you put your mind to. And so, you know,
you made my day by saying Lincoln Park.
Aw, thank you. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here, but education was something she was
highly valued,
extremely adamant about. And so, you know, engineering, I was great in math and, you know, statistics, and I loved, you know, I was very technical and, you know, loved that kind of stuff. So I went into engineering, but the thing was I did not like it. So what I did was I went back and I got my degree in PR and communications.
It was like another master's or a bachelor's?
It was another bachelor's. I really should have did it through master's, but the program was fairly new at the time at Wayne State University. So it was actually the beginning of them introducing that program. Dr. Mazel was I remember the director of that program at the time. But I don't regret any of it, because I think that training with the PR really worked well for me, you know, in moving on. And I'll tell you another secret where Hassan actually finished electrical engineering as well. Cool. So he's an electrical engineer.
So
he didn't like it.
Both are engineers.
So he went back and he got his you know, certification in education, and you know, has I think 2 masters, and he's got physics degree and math degree and, you know, what have you. So it was funny that we both, you know, went through that
process. Family, I mean, obviously.
Well, I mean, it was, you know, wasn't.
That's great.
We went and finished study in a course that we didn't like, so we had to. I'm not sure how smart that was. So we had to go back and do something that we liked.
But just conquering a world that, you know, was really tough. I mean, especially, I mean, in your case, it's a job and everything else, and we're going to come back to that. Just let me, again, give a shout out to all the people that are watching us on Facebook and WhatsApp Network. Please make sure you make a comment, ask a question, and we thank you all. Please make sure you share the video to share such a great and inspirational story like this one. Also, big shout out for all the sponsors of WhatsApp Network, Sling Arabic TV, Mushahed Plus, BM Sports, over 130 channels. Please make sure you get in touch with WhatsApp Network team so you can get a free membership for a whole week. Also, of course, big shout out to our Spot of Hope sponsors, Marwan Faraj from Memo Express, big shout out, Ali Sharara, Century 21, big shout out, as well as Sam Baidoun, our lovely Wayne County Commissioner, as well as Century 21 real estate agent. Back to you, Sam. I'm giving you a 35-second break. You know, to your great story. Honestly, I'm hearing things, and I'm pretty sure that the people out there are hearing things that they never heard. You know, so thank you for sharing all of that.
You're good at getting that stuff out, huh?
I know, right? So basically, once you finish your degree, did you work with that degree during your degree, or you didn't? Did you get a job?
With my engineering degree? No, I didn't, because it was not something that I really wanted to pursue.
I see.
And I'll let you in on another little secret. A cousin of mine was really somebody that encouraged me to do that. And he says, you got to get this degree, and after you're done, you know, we'll do something together.
Okay.
And the little stinker ended up going to overseas when I finished. And so that was out, and I'm thinking, I think I want to do something that I really enjoy.
Here where you went and you pursued a bachelor's in PR, public relations, and
communications.
At Wayne State too?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so you're not a gold, you're not a gold blue then?
No.
I mean, even if the Michigan are so happy for the beat that we had last time. I mean, that was embarrassing.
So
you know,
yeah,
that was really embarrassing.
Wayne State is my alma mater, and actually Hassan
Wayne State too?
Finished Wayne State, and then he also went to Lawrence Tech University.
Nice. And
he went to Madonna University and finished his certification.
Nice. Is that the time where you, once you finish your degree in PR, is that where you, is that two things? Is that where you first got your first job, and then is that where you met Hassan?
No, I'll tell you where I met Hassan.
Okay.
I actually met Hassan accidentally. I traveled to Lebanon once in my entire life in 1977. I was there for 2 weeks.
That was
This is
the
a
only
funny
time in
story,
Lebanon?
and many people don't know this. Yeah,
Okay.
this is the only time I've gone to Lebanon. I was there for approximately 2 weeks
2
in
weeks.
'77.
Okay.
And I was outside of my uncle's home, and there was this gentleman that was walking by.
Okay.
And he had some birds, dead birds dangling down on his side.
Okay.
And I am an avid animal lover. So
Okay.
I looked at this person and I thought, oh my gosh, how could he do that? He killed all these birds. So
Okay.
he walked by. A year later,
Hassan, you listening to us?
listening to us. A year later, I had come home from school. I think I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And his brother actually knew my uncle.
Okay.
And they had gone to pick him up, and they decided to stop over. And I walked in the house, and I looked at him and recognized him and took my mother to the side and said, why is that man here?
Well, he's criminal, all right?
I don't want him here. He killed those birds back in Lebanon. And that's how I met Hassan. And it took a while, and then, you know, we talked a little bit, and we were
Nice.
best friends for 7 years.
Here we go.
Literally best friends for 7 years. And as strict as Mom was, he was the only individual that, you know, she would let me talk to. I mean, just talk to. And then the friendship just sort of resolved into something else. And there's nothing like marrying your best friend.
Sure.
It's the best decision I ever made in my entire
Alhamdulillah.
life. Yeah. So it
God
wasn't
bless you both.
it didn't start off on a great note, but it ended up on one.
It was sort of on dead birds.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
And I'm an animal lover. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't pretty.
Yeah. Well, next time we're gonna see him. So what are the birds that you killed?
Oh my gosh! Yep. Now everybody knows about the birds.
Yeah. No, Hassan's a great people.
He's
and,
amazing.
to give a shout out, I mean, he was also force and principal too at some point too, right? For
Yes,
years,
he was
he's been a
acting in
mentor.
force and-
Yes, he's been a mentor and an advocate, you know, for our kids and our students and our well-being overall for over 3 decades. So that's no strange, you know, for you and for him. I mean, to get married to someone like that, as a tireless public servant. So after
He's
that, you got
amazing.
married and.
Well, I actually worked for the Lincoln Park Board of Education for a while.
You did?
Yes, after I graduated, and
Okay.
you know, while I was going to school, and I did a lot while I was going to school. I really should have concentrated more on school, but it worked out very well.
Okay.
I opened a business called La Mirage on Schaefer. And I was more the business aspect, but it was a hair salon and After 5 clothing. So I had people that actually did hair and, you know, did the retail part, and so I just did the business itself. And and then I sold it, which was great. And I went on to work for the Department of Commerce for a few years until I had my first daughter.
Here we go.
And then I stayed home for a little while. And then
How many kids do you have today?
I have 2 kids.
Two kids.
Gina and Alex.
So 2, 1 boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl.
God bless them.
Thank you.
And do they give you a hard time?
No,
That's
they
good.
don't.
That's good.
Gina, I'm very proud of her. She's
Alhamdulillah.
finishing law school,
Awesome.
but she's also the
Congrats in
manager.
advance, all right?
She works. She's working right now. She's the manager of the Attorney Grievance Commission for the state of Michigan. So
Awesome.
I'm very, very proud of her.
Congratulations.
And Alex is amazing. He's more of the business kind of sense guy, and also into the. He's my starving artist. He loves acting.
Nice.
Comedian. He writes his own,
Cool.
scores and things like that. So.
Is he pursuing a career in that, or just a hobby, and then while he does his business ventures?
Well, you know what? Thank God he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's trying to pursue the business aspect. But I have to say I mean, it's not something that usually moms encourage. But he does have talent. So he's definitely he's pulled so much stuff on me that I never knew that he was acting. So he's very, very, very realistic, and he's also not starred, but has been in a few movies.
Nice.
As well.
No kidding.
So, yeah, he has. He's been
Great.
in a few
So
movies.
is that his goal, hopefully, I mean, to be in a major movie and
Absolutely.
do it on a big
He'd like
screen
that.
and-
Yes.
nice.
Yes, he had a major role in a show called something of Roth City. I can't even remember that. That's what happens when you get old. But they have an actual game board, and it's a game that people can play and buy. And he has one of the little cards that's in his replication.
That's
so
nice.
I'm proud of that.
That's nice.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, it's a good talent, and inshallah he'll find his hook in that, because that's that world, as much as it sounds kind of easy to conquer.
It's very difficult.
Exactly.
Not,
you need
not
that
the
connection.
kind of world you want to.
Exactly. You need that connection,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to producers, to actors.
It's like, don't quit your
to
day
stuff
job.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, because a lot of our current, movie stars, they started, from even from either being a football player or wrestlers.
Waiters, waitresses.
Yeah, exactly. So until they really landed on somebody, on a connection that paved them the way, and then they got a chance and they used it to the best of their abilities, and here we go. So we hope nothing but the best for your son as well.
Thank you.
In that regards, before we get into a break, Siham, in a second commercial break, I want to ask you this question. So now, thank God you survived tough childhood. You went to school. You met your husband, the bird killer.
But the bird killer, he's gonna kill us.
Just joking, of course. Yes, man, Hassan's the best, honestly, one of the best people I've met.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. Just,
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, of course. So you met your husband. You had 2 kids. Alhamdulillah, they're not, giving a lot of headache. They are educated. They are talented. And now you are a consultant. The next part of the show will be about pretty much talking about diversity, the efforts that you lead, as far as for the past 17 years, diversity and perception and images and perception conference. Also as a consultant yourself, diversity training and stuff like that. So we just want to know why you've gone into that. Is it a passion of yours? Is it because we live in such a diverse city and country overall? Is it because something that you went through? Is it because of an accident you went through when you were younger and that left in you a remark, or a mark or a scar, whatever you want to call it? So, but before we dive into that, and before we go to our commercial break, I just want to give a shout out again for all the audience out there. Thank you for watching and sharing and commenting. We will catch your comments after the commercial break. Big shout out to all What's Up Media sponsors. Sling Arabic TV, over 130 channels, Arabic channels, BM Sports, Mushahada Plus. Please make sure that you get in touch with the What's Up Media Network team to get a free membership for a whole week. Also, big shout out for our sponsors, Sam Baidoun, our lovely Wayne County Commissioner, Central 21, Ali Sharara from Central 21, as well as Marwan Faraj from Lemo Express. Siham, we'll get back to you after a commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll come back. Welcome back, everybody, to this great show with a great guest, Siham Awada Jaafar, an icon of our community that works tirelessly behind the scene 99% of the time, and we want to make sure that her efforts are not gone unnoticed. Siham, welcome back, and thank you for all that you are talking about and for all the secrets that you're giving out.
I am, aren't I?
Thank you, appreciate that.
You do that.
We're honored, we're enlightened with your presence here.
Thank you.
Of course.
My honor.
Of course, our honor. So let me jump into the kind of professional life now. So you sold that hair salon kind of thing. You always wanted to get into business. Is that how you became a consultant using your degrees, especially your PR and communication, obviously?
Well,
You became a consultant?
I worked for the Department of Commerce for a while, and again, you know, I had Gina, and
Yes.
it was, I had the business for a while, and it was really 9/11 that struck a nerve in me.
Yeah.
We were actually
Unfortunately, it's a very sad memory.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. It was a very sad time in our country,
Yes. and the
as a
world,
country, and it was a very sad time for our community, unfortunately, because we were targeted
We're hit,
and profiled, and all of a sudden
stigmatized.
stigmatized.
Yes.
I remember exactly where I was. I was actually going to one of the newspaper offices, and I was looking at the computer at the time, which are not as advanced as they are now, and
Sure.
I literally thought it was a movie. I did not think that that was real. I thought it was a movie that I was seeing.
Animated, huh?
It was animated, and you know, when I found out what had happened, I really felt more like a victim at that time. But the next day, I didn't wake up as a victim. I woke up as a perpetrator, because that's what everyone viewed us as.
Yeah,
as
unfortunately,
Arab
and
Americans.
big shout out to all the victims and their families and loved ones. Our condolences, and yeah, and then we have, you know, not of course to explain ourselves by any means or justify anything else, because you know, Muslims and Islam is nothing but the religion of love, kindness, and peace.
Absolutely.
You know, so
And so the concept of being able to mourn what had happened to our country and to mourn those that were lost was really, it was a shocker, because we felt all victimized as to what happened, and our country was attacked, and we wanted
Yes.
to feel, you know, with everyone else in the same kind of regard. But then you wake up, and that was sort of taken away because you became the perpetrator, unfortunately. And that was very difficult for everybody to understand.
that was an
And there was a
eye-opener
lot
for
of,
you.
pardon?
That was an eye-opener for you.
It was an eye-opener, and there was a lot of different questions, and people did not understand, and it was the fear factor, and so there was that necessity to create a safe space to have that conversation, so people can talk about the hurt,
Sure.
so they can talk about the confusion, on really both sides of the aisle, because you had all these individuals that were mourning. You know, a lot of Arab Americans were lost on that day.
Sure.
A lot of, you know, beautiful, beautiful people were lost on that day.
Yes.
And we wanted to have a chance to try to understand that, to try to mourn, and to try to grieve and get over that. But then again, it was a double fold because of what was happening. And so that safe space was very, very necessary. And I recall traveling during that time. We actually ended up going to Washington on business, and I recall I was with a colleague of mine who was Arab American, but whose name did not sound Arab American and who didn't look Arab American, and of course, you know, Siham Awada Jaafar,
Yeah.
and you know, the whole 9 yards. I was definitely profiled without a doubt.
Fortunately, yeah.
You know, he was allowed to go through, and you know, I was searched multiple times, and it was a day trip. You know, it was morning and coming at night, and had no luggage basically. But I was searched, you know, multiple times, and it struck me that the world that I knew, because I guess I was very, very fortunate growing up. I really never felt profiled. I never felt stereotyped. I never felt discriminated against. And I guess maybe, you know, I don't know why that happened, but it never thought about it, and it was always a very, you know, easy flow, and I was always very proud of who I was,
Yes.
always very vocal about who I was, but never really felt that, you know, that
Yes.
sense of profiling or stereotyping especially. And so it really struck me that day that the world had changed. as I knew it, and as a lot of other people had known it, and the concept of what I was hearing and the misconceptions and the conversations that were occurring were not accurate, were not factual, and I wanted a space where people can go and ask the tough questions, regardless of whether they were insulting or not insulting, or correct or not correct, just to be there out of curiosity, be able to ask questions, and have the individuals there to be able to answer them in a positive, respectful, and communicative way. And there was created the first Images and Perceptions Diversity Conference that we had at the University of Michigan.
Awesome.
And we
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, even if it came, unfortunately, out of or after a sad occasion, yet, I mean, it's continuing, it's just as a continued efforts to shed the light on such important issues, such diversity in all its aspects.
Absolutely. And it began as Images and Perceptions of Arab Americans. And Warren David and I really, spearheaded that. And the conversations were amazing. I think we had about 80 people, the very first one. We did it at the University of Michigan. And people started asking questions, and there was a conversation that was started. And I thought,
right there,
out of this immense tragedy and heartache and total confusion, came some kind of solace and some kind of way to create an understanding that even prior to did not exist. So that communication started. And, the second year we did the same thing. We focused on different aspects. And people wanted to learn. They wanted to understand. And I think those individuals really realized that understanding what you fear makes that fear go away, rather than going away from it. If you bring it into your life, it enriches your life a little bit more. And so through that process, it sort of morphed into Images and Perceptions, where we engaged, the different ethnicities, the Asian American, African American, Hispanic American, disabilities community, the Jewish community, LGBTQ communities, and it went from 84 people to now, we host over 500 people at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center, and we want to keep it, at that level, because we do still want to have that communication process where the people that participate can ask questions, and it's really important. But I will tell you this one story. When we did this, I think it was one of our 5th conferences, and it was the end of the conference, and one of the gals comes up to me, and she looked at me, and she was with another individual that I had known. And this gal came up to me, and she looked at me, and she says, I've hated you for so many years. And I'm looking at her, and I'm trying to place her, and I really couldn't place her. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, do we know each other? She goes, no, we don't. She goes, but she made me come, pointing to the individual that was standing there. And she goes, I've hated you all for so many years. Now, this woman had someone that had perished in the 9/11 attacks. And she said to me in tears, and I'm going to start crying myself right now. She says to me, but you have lifted this big boulder off my shoulders. You have made this hate go away by being here today, and by listening, and by hearing the different stories of the individuals, because now I have an understanding. And now I see a little bit clearer. I lost my loved ones, and that hate just blinded me. And she says, I feel like there was a boulder lifted off my shoulder. I feel like you gave me a new leaf on life. We hugged Khodr, and we're still in touch to this day.
Nice.
She's one of my dearest friends.
Nice. See,
and that's not
a lifetime.
Absolutely.
It's a lifetime thing, yeah.
Absolutely. And I've had different experiences like that. We do it in Chicago as well.
Yes.
And it was very, very similar. And people say this changed my life. And I think it's about the people that are there, the people that present, and it's about their own experiences, their own hardships, their own challenges, and the fact that they are now, a lot of individuals that present are very successful, and they're very well noted and nationally known. And to hear someone like that, and to hear their challenges, and to hear their difficulties, and to hear what they went through, it sort of brings it home, because you can identify to that person.
I bet, and this is really one of the most noble purposes of this conference is, I mean, not only that you are enlightening people that are in attendance or those who hear about it, but also you are building bridges
Absolutely.
of love, peace, kindness, and you are preventing hate and all these hateful crimes too. I mean, someone might be blinded by that hate that might force him or her to do something crazy. So you're spreading something that will, for generations, because if I'm gonna end up being loving, my kids are gonna be loving, hopefully, and then so it's gonna be something that we passed over to generations. Whereas the opposite is gonna happen if, God forbid, someone is hateful and all he got is hatred. That's what's gonna be passed around his household or her household, which is gonna be very bad. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Children learn to hate. They don't grow up hating. If they can learn to hate, they can learn to love even more. And so, creating that acceptance, creating that diversity within households, and making, having kids understand that just because somebody looks different or speaks different does not mean that they're different. Because when you look in the inside, we're all, blood flows through our veins the same way. And
they're humans.
Exactly, and the concept of treating someone differently because of where they look or because of where they come from is totally absurd to me, and that was something I could never understand. And I told you earlier in the conversation that we had to go to different places, we had to see different people, we had to see the different lifestyles, whether it was the Jewish community, the African American community, the Hispanic community. We had to be part of that because we could not be who we were without understanding where other people come from. And not only understanding them, but accepting them.
Absolutely.
And having pride in that.
Absolutely, and that's a very important fact that you are putting everybody, despite their good differences, under one roof, sharing the same piece of bread and same, same room.
Absolutely.
Breaking bread and eating and talking, joking, laughing, and sharing these motivational stories. That's very amazing. So that's one aspect of the diversity. What about the training that you do? Do you do that like with businesses, companies, corporates?
Absolutely. We do it with every 2 years. I've had the pleasure of doing training for Wayne County Airport Authority.
Nice.
And it's amazing. The ladies and gentlemen who are hands-on, they're at the airport. I mean, how much more diverse can you possibly be?
Sure.
So we talk about the disabilities community. They did have an issue not too long ago, with a lawsuit that came their way in regards to somebody with a disability, and they were not treated correctly.
Ask me about that.
But I do have to
Who
say,
knows? I might be behind it.
I do have to say that the CEO did come out and say, there's no excuse for this. We have to address this in a correct way, and it was, very right that this was brought to our attention, and we will make it right. And so,
big shout out to the CEO for taking care of that, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
We are still following up with that matter, actually,
Wonderful.
to avoid future incidents.
I knew you'd be on top of that. Absolutely.
So, and so, CEO, thank you for also doing what you can do, because diversity, which I know that you know that, and I know that at each conference, almost at least the one that I've been attending or at least following. Sorry if I'm unable to attend each year due to work commitment, but
no
I do follow up. but I do follow, and I see what's going on. I know that at each conference, almost the last few years, you do have somebody that represents the disabled population. So thank you, and representative, not only just to represent, but in the utmost honorable and inspirational way too, because disability is diversity. At least it is part of diversity, and nothing worse, and you know that firsthand from your experiences, from your life. Nothing worse than when someone make you feel or look or sound that you're like horribly different. So appreciate all that you do in that regard.
Thank you.
How people can get a hold if they, let's say if they're a business or anything like that, want to do some consulting or even
Oh,
be part of the conference.
Diversity conference, absolutely. And we do diversity training for different entities, organizations, corporations. Yeah, Comerica Bank, we've done diversity training for immigration services,
Nice.
TSA. So it's a gamut. I actually did one for Burlington Coat Factory.
Nice.
They had called, and I think
Awesome.
that was the most memorable.
That's impressive.
It was, and it was funny because one of the things that a lot of the employees were concerned about was because when they spoke with, and my diversity training encompasses the Hispanic, African American, but I remember the one thing that was concerning to them with the Arab American community
Sure.
is because after
Language
they had
barrier.
seen a customer a few times, that the distance of the personal space was
Yes.
was limited. And once I explained that after you see someone a few times, especially when our community, I mean, we're very compassionate, passionate
Sure.
people, you become a friend, and so that
Yes.
personal space is it dissipates a little bit more because
Yes.
now that they know you. And
Good
so
point.
that was something that I got feedback on, and they said, our employees are so much more comfortable now. They understand it's a friendship kind of thing. So it's just those little things,
Sure.
that really, really make a big difference in the relationships that people have. But, I do diversity training. It's anywhere, and it's all customized according to who I'm presenting to, whether it's, Wayne County Airport Authority, whether it's a bank, whether it's, a government entity, whether it's law enforcement. Everything is customized to that area and customized to the demographics of that area.
Sure.
And they can go on the website, which is 3D Consults, the number 3.com, 3dconsults.com, or they can call 313-910-1955, and that's definitely my passion, and I feel that we get a lot of positive responses.
Yes.
Because it's information. Once you have the information and you have the tools, you look at things a little bit differently, and your reactions to things
Sure.
are different too.
So 313-910-1955.
All right,
If
you
someone
remembered that
gets,
very well.
someone gets hold of you, very informative, especially nowadays. Diversity, again, education, knowledge won't ever harm us. It's knowledge is power, and
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you just a 30-second break, just so I can again thank all the people that are watching, comment and making comments on the live. Please share to get all this great and valuable information. Big shout out also to the WhatsApp Media Network sponsors, Sling Arabic TV, over 130 Arabic channels, Mushahada Plus, PM Sports. Please get in touch with WhatsApp Media Network team so you can get a free membership for a whole week. Big thanks to our sponsors, a spot of hope sponsor, sent by the Wayne County Commissioner Lamo Express Marwan Faraj wa Ali Sharara from Century 21. Sam, back to you. So what's next? I mean,
Well, what's next?
Are you planning on staying in this?
Well, absolutely. We're on our 17th annual
Here we
Images
go.
and Perceptions
Congratulations.
Diversity Conference, and it's going to take place April 30th, 2020.
Awesome. Where are you
And
going to be
at the
Civic
Ford
Center?
Community and
Okay.
Performing Arts Center in Dearborn, Michigan, and we're in
Any
the process
reserved
of.
guests so far, or do you have any
Well, I
to
can't.
share with us? You can
No confirmations as of yet, but
Okay.
definitely we have some promising individuals, and one individual is a household name. So I'm hoping that that person will be there, and I would love you to be part of it this year as
I'll
well.
be honored. Which day is it going to be? Wednesday, right?
It's a Thursday this year.
Thursday. Okay.
Yes, so you're just going to have to give them almost 6-month notice that you'll be absent from work that day.
Oh. Okay. I'll be there this year, I promise. And here we go. I'm promising that I'm going to be there April 30th.
Sounds good. And Khodr, this whole conversation on diversity is really, really important, more
Yes.
so, and I say that every year, and every year it becomes more important because right now it seems like people, I think it's been there all along, but people have been able to
Sure.
deal with it a little bit better. But right now, it's almost like people have a license to hate, and it's okay to act upon their
Unfortunately, yeah.
feelings. And
Absolutely.
that's something that really needs to be addressed because it's not okay. It's not okay to be racist. It's not okay to be violent towards towards people that are different than you, that is not okay. And I think that message is so important to get out right now.
I mean, what is better than the message of love, kindness, unity, and peace?
Absolutely.
You know, living one another and with one another happily. As one community, we should embrace and celebrate our diversity. It shouldn't be, you know, the spark of fire. You know, that's gonna cause a lot of trouble and hate and violence. So it should be something we should embrace and celebrate peacefully.
And culture is beautiful. Yeah. Could you imagine if we all did the same thing at the same time, in the same way, every single day? Absolutely. So culture is beautiful. And that's one thing, you know, in regards to the conferences, that we have a full breakfast, we have a full lunch.
Yes.
And people that come together, they can't sit together. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I get some complaints, but then afterwards they're happy, because I want people to sit with people that they don't know, to be able to converse, and the audience is as diverse as our presenters. And so when they sit with people, and especially, you know, the corporate entities, and they're talking to each other, you know, they create different networks, and they create different projects around diversity, and it has happened within the conference. And so I think that that is what really fuels my fire, because I see the process as a continuation. It's not just they come to the conference and that's it. There's a continuation, and they create different entities. They create different programs within their corporations that deal with diversity. And it was a couple of the hospitals and one of the universities that actually attended created entities after being at the conference. So those are the kinds of things that we work on and we, you know, focus on. And this is really a labor of love, more so than anything else. And, you know, I have some wonderful, you know, volunteers that help out. And Hassan.
Here we go again.
Now that he's retired, he's like,
yes.
So I keep him very, very, very busy, you know, with that. But it's a conversation that needs to be a continuing process, and to thrive, and especially this day and age, because we live in a very scary time right now.
Yes. It's much needed.
And you know what? We need to band together, regardless, black, white, yellow, whatever it is. We need to band. Exactly. We need to band together, and we need to know that.
Needed.
Yeah, we're more alike. We're more alike than we are different.
Sure.
I mean that's
absolutely.
That's just
we are
fact.
humans too. I mean, if you ask anybody, they might list a lot of differences or contrasting factors, but they can't say that I'm not human and you are a human.
Absolutely.
You know, we both share this, you know, human race, and we should act on it. And as you said, what unites us is way more than what divides us. Siham, in the last 5 minutes that we have, what would be? Well, two questions. Number one, have you reached what you wanted to reach? So you didn't like engineering. I mean, not going to take you back to that time. So you pursued another degree in PR and communication. So have you reached today? Can you say, I reached 50, 60, 70, 80% of my goal thus far? And of course, we wish you much more success and prosperity. So for your family.
Thank you.
And number two, what will be your last remark to the community and to everyone who's watching us?
Thank you. Well, you know what? I don't think we will ever reach the goals and visions we have for ourselves, because I think we're all very, very driven, and there's always work to do. There's always things that, you know, need to be done.
Yes.
And we're all soldiers, and I think you know, we have to continue the process, and we have to continue the conversation, and we have to give as much as we possibly can. Alhamdulillah, you know, I feel like you know, there was a vision, there was a passion of mine, and I pursued that.
Sure.
And that has been really my focus. You know, I'm involved in a couple of other things that I'm very proud of. I work with the Wayne County Dispute Resolution Center. I'm the president of the board.
Nice.
And you know, given what I do in terms of diversity, you know, dispute resolution is, you know, is a major part, because you bring people together.
Sure.
And you create that common ground where there is that understanding. And so that's something that I'm very proud of. You know, I'm planning commissioner for the city of Dearborn Heights, and that takes you know, a little bit of time. And I love doing that as well. And it's about growth, and it's about, economic vitality and, bringing beautiful things to the city. And, the Arab American community is doing amazing things in Dearborn. I hope that, politically speaking, there's some common ground and some, a focus on being constructive, and that's what we're looking at right now. So,
we came a long way.
we pray for that every single day. I guess the most important message that I could give to someone is to follow their dreams, to be a soldier. Sometimes we have so many chiefs, we don't have many soldiers, because the soldiers are the people that actually do the work and have the passion and are on the ground, running. And I think that people can do whatever they put their minds to, and especially our girls are doing amazing things. I am so proud of our community, and the men and women. But I think the women are having an extreme positive effect on on our community, and I think in general nationally. We've seen that surge. And I'd like to see that that continue.
I'd like to see you running for office one day. On your mind?
You know what?
Given the fact all
Hassan
these
tells me.
and, honestly, it's a great impact, and you're a role model for women and men, and for humanity in general. Would that be not to put you on the spot, of course, but would that be something that we can project down the road?
You know what? I think I'm best served as a soldier, more so than anything else. And I'm very involved in the political process, definitely. And I'm hands-on, but I'm better served as a soldier behind the scenes working in that aspect.
Well, I think whenever you will see the need for you to run, I think you'll run, and I don't think you will save efforts to make even a more impactful difference. I'm so sure of that.
Well, I want to work on your campaign. That's what I want to do.
I'll be honored.
All right.
I'll
work on your campaign.
I'll be honored. I'll be honored. I mean, thanks so much for your confidence and for your continued support. You're a big supporter, on and off social media, and again, through your husband, your wonderful husband. We wish you, your husband, your kids, your mom, your sister, and your career, nothing but the best. More prosperity, more success, more stability, and of course, more health. Health is wealth.
Health is number one. Absolutely.
Yes. Everything comes and goes. Money comes and goes. If someone got a setback, we can always, stand by the wall, back up, and get back on our feet, and brush it off and work all over. But health as well. So we wish you more health. Anything else like to add before?
Well, I want to thank you very much, and I want to tell you.
Thank you for that interview 6 years ago, by the way.
That started your career. I love it.
Exactly,
I love it. And you were a natural then, and you're a natural now.
Thank you.
But thank you, Khodr, for all you do, and all the.
We won't. I know that we didn't do you justice, because 1 hour won't be enough to sum up 40 years of hard work. So
well, you're very easy to talk to, but I'm always very proud of you. I'm proud of the initiatives that you take on, and the vocal person that you are within the community, and you face the challenges too, and so you are an inspiration to us all.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much. And anything we as Spot of Hope, What's Up Media Network, or even what we do outside, this show, anything all combined, if we can be of any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
And we love to help by promoting the good word, the good work, and we love to lend you a hand and a leg too. So just let us know, and a brain.
Thank you, Khodr.
Yeah, so whatever you need. So you're doing amazing. Wish you much more success. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks to WhatsApp.
Sure.
As well.
Huh? Sorry.
Thank you to WhatsApp as well for hosting us today.
WhatsApp Network is everything. They are the platform by which we are able to reflect the best that our community has to offer to our community here in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, and even the world. Thank you once again, Siham, for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had today a great icon. Not only that she conquered such uncertain career, for a female back in the 30, 40 years ago, but also as a mom, as a wife, and as a very successful professional. She is an ambassador for love, peace, diversity, and inclusion, and she combats hate and division. Thanks once again to WhatsApp Media Network, all the sponsors, Sling Arabic TV, over 130 Arabic channels, BM Sports, Mashahad Plus. Please get in touch with WhatsApp Media Network team to get a free membership for a whole week. Big shout out to our Spot of Hope sponsors, Sam Baidoon, Wayne County Commissioner, Limo Express from Marwan Faraj, and then Ali Sharara from also Century 21. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for next Tuesday for another episode, another exciting episode with another exciting guest, as always, with positivity and ambition. See you all next Tuesday. Good night.